All right, we are live. So we're going to get into this, the end of the recap of the season that just passed by. I wanted to talk about, which I posted, surprises in the league. If there were rookies that you guys missed out on, talk about your teams, talk about the future of how you want to take your team this season, and just shoot the shit. Um, Melman was just asking me about Donovan because he was saying that since Ike left my team, he was figuring that my team would tank for a couple of seasons until I found a quarterback.
No, I didn't say tank. I didn't say tank.
Well, that's what I got. I would have thought the same thing. If you had Ike and you lost him, I would have said your team's going to fall down until you get a new quarterback.
That's what I was hoping would happen. I didn't think it was going to happen.
And I don't know what was in my head. I was going to ride with this Murray guy. And then I saw Donovan hit the market, which Grimm couldn't afford him. And so I said, let me pick this guy up. And I brought him on my team. However, he was doing terrible in preseason. And Grimm goes, you're not going to start Donovan? I go, no, I'm going to give it to this guy for one game. And then I'll bring Donovan in after I see what this guy can do. And sure enough, Donovan just took off. And every season he's done better and better and better. However, he's always behind your guy Horner, as you can see up here.
Yeah, not in the volume stuff though. He outputs more stuff, doesn't he? My guy's a bit more efficient, maybe, but he's doing it less. So, but he in the 2 games we had this year, he was really good. And you just when you think you might be getting you into like a 3rd and long or something like that, he does a crazy conversion. So you can't write him off. Can't write Kansas off when Donovan's playing.
He did very well. I was very happy that I got that pickup. I'm hoping I can have another 3 more years out of him until I can find another QB. So we'll see where it goes. But we were talking about, fellas, Chicago, that Chicago was a surprise for Melman and myself, that he just dropped in the ranks when he was just up there. And so we were saying maybe he was pulling his hair out because of something's not working, or he's been too busy with maybe work because he hasn't been on the forum that much.
His quarterback had a fine season. So it can't be on the offense.
Yeah, Tomlinson had a pretty good season this year. Just the record wasn't there. Might be that, his defense was pretty porous. Number 29 overall and 30th in scoring defense, points against. So that was probably the problem there. But now Tomlinson retired, so I don't know what the hell he's going to do.
It looks like it's going to be a restart for him. He's got $204 million, which is great, to start all over again. He only has 26 players signed. So, yeah.
When you lose that 15 seasons of cohesion, I almost feel like, would you even really know what your offense is when you bring in someone new? You know, you have to give someone new that time to build up just some cohesion, don't you? Because you can have a great game plan and stuff, but when a guy's running it and he's got 15 years or 15 seasons of cohesion behind him, you don't know how much of the good play can be because of that and because of the game plan or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind just plugging a new quarterback in a working system.
Yeah.
Where is he picking in the draft? Let me see. I'll move this over for a minute.
Just having a look at where he was in the strength of schedule from the start of last season in Ben's post.
Oh, he's picking 4.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
He's picking 4. However, this is a quarterback, if we still stay with the sim. That's the only quarterback on the market right now. I just happened to look through it just now, but
yeah, he doesn't even look that great. But at 4, he should be able to. I mean, there's a couple good running backs in there and a couple good wide receivers, and he has nothing right now outside of a wide receiver. He's got that Rod Glover kid, maybe that Chad McDaniel tight end he's got, but he's got no running back and no quarterback.
I mean, 26 players on the roster. There's plenty of room for anyone who's good.
Yep.
That's 27 players he has to pick up.
And there's almost, if you've been stripped out that much, there's almost, there's not, I don't know if there's a lot of point in trying to get a veteran QB to come in, because do you have the cast to support him straight away, or?
He's got the tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah, his tight end's been doing very well. So
Yeah, and the receiver as well, Glover.
Well, there's no quarterbacks in free agency worth a shit. Maybe Poffenroth, but outside of that, because I'm looking again. I lost Donovan to fucking Clay, and then Straczynski, I lost out on re-signing him because Melko came in and outbid me. And look what Straczynski did for Hanley this year. Jesus Christ,
I know.
That's two quarterbacks I've lost that just went on to just kick ass. It's like, damn it.
I know. Here he is, right here. 66% completion, 4,800 yards, 7.51 yards per attempt, 35 touchdowns, 23 interceptions, quarterback rating of 91.6.
That's disgusting.
14-2 season. Congrats, Mel Powell, for that, and get into the bowl. Oh, congrats to Ben for winning the bowl.
Congrats to Ben.
Yeah.
I felt like that had been a long time coming. I think someone said that in the message, but Ben had been there for however many of the last seasons, hadn't he?
But you are correct, Grim. There is zero quarterback in the free agency pool. Zero.
I think Poffenroth had a good season, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
I think he might.
Yeah,
what
he's right
kind
here.
of money? He wants some money, though, does he? How much money does he want?
Let's take a look. 53 million.
Yeah.
He's affordable.
Does he have? What is he? How old is he?
He's getting up there,
36.
He wants a 3-year deal. Oh.
Yeah.
He plays for 1 year. You pay the other 2, and he leaves.
Wow. Ooh.
I mean,
Ronaldo Wilson didn't, but
Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, your team was a surprise to me as well, MJ. I
In a
thought,
negative
I
way,
thought, I
yeah.
thought with your Wilson guy, you would still do another, maybe take the division and stuff like that. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I think I was too. I mean, I didn't think the defense would fall apart, and I thought the offense would still do well, but I guess I underestimated my running back situation, and losing more offensive linemen, it really hurts. So I guess losing my left tackle hurt my team even more than I expected.
Do you feel you're on the same boat like Chicago, where you have 32 players signed, $74 million only to use, but you work magic with your cap anyway?
I'm on the fence. I'm not sure the quarterback I picked last season in the first round is going to work out. He lost a lot. And let me see about his 40-yard dash.
Did he drop in PS2 last year, that guy?
He did.
Yeah.
Not a lot by this league scout, but by my own scout, I think he lost about. Oh, I can check that. I have it in my.
Oh, by the way, my scouts for offensive coordinator are awful now.
Yep.
So what you're seeing doesn't reflect what his quarterback really looks like.
Yeah, but he's even worse on my team.
Yeah, I've got him 20 of 48.
Well, that's what I have him.
I suspect that every scout in the league, except for my own, is being generous to him.
Oh, God. That's not good.
No, I don't think it was. Oh, I didn't track my. Oh, that's too bad. I didn't track the changes in the last season.
What did you like about him coming out that you think might have I don't know, blinded you to take him if he was going to drop like this, or was it just bad luck? Volatility?
I don't think it was completely random, but it was very high on my draft board, so I thought it was worth the gamble. I was expecting to go for a quarterback, and then Wilson actually returned for another season. So I figured, well, give it a shot, and well, we'll have to see. There's nobody in the free agency market, so I'm probably stuck with this guy. Unless somebody wants to trade me a veteran reaching 35 or something, I'm willing to go for it. So
I will give you Donovan for 4 first-round picks. You have like a million first-round picks to spare.
I've got a couple this draft. I have analyzed first-round picks, so that was kind of a bummer. But
Millman, didn't you hear a hesitation?
I was going to say he didn't reject it outright though, so he was considering it for a couple of minutes there. Also, this QB, I'm looking at him. I think I figured it out why he dropped. He's 5'10". If you ever look at his height, so
see,
maybe that was it.
Motherfuckers.
Exactly, he was jinxed by his height. So,
Grim, you can't stand short quarterbacks, correct?
I can't. I won't have one on my team. I don't care how well other people make them work. They will not be on my team.
Yeah.
Well, what scares me more is his 40-yard dash. It's not. Well, I mean, not every quarterback can be the can be like Ronaldo Wilson was, but there was one thing I really, really liked about the quarterback, and that's why I didn't mind him being old and being a red flag. That guy could run when we needed him. So I think that's why my team played so well for the last 4 or 5 seasons, except maybe last season.
That can be so valuable, can't it? If your QB can run run on third and whatever and stuff and get out of trouble. Did you have designed runs for him as well?
No,
so
not at all.
Random.
Yeah. I was very high on the offensive line in the very strong seasons. So I was even wondering why he was getting so much. We got so much pressure because our offensive line was like top 3, top 5 in pass protection, but with Wilson's scrambling skills, I didn't mind too much. He was throwing a lot of interceptions, but he was compensating. So
So you're going to moving forward, Marsh, because you have 0 quarterbacks to work with this season.
Oh yeah, but I still think you have to give young players about 3 seasons to see for sure whether he's trending downwards or it was just one single season drop.
So is that an exclusive that Marsh will be the starter in Louis next year?
Well, I have to see what the off-season brings. He's not set in stone yet.
He's not totally out of it, but he's not the week 1 starter yet.
The thing is, there's so many teams looking for QBs. Right now. For the past, I think, 2 seasons, I should say.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, there's like 10 quarterbacks that's really guys that can win a game for you, and the rest, they will have to be game managers. Don't make too many mistakes, fit in your system, and there's a lot of guys between 40 and 50 rated that could be a starter for some teams. It could be just a disaster for another team, just because your offense is different.
Yeah,
I've noticed, and I said this to Grim, quarterbacks seem to be getting more important than wide receivers now. I've been seeing this. Less quarterbacks are now in the free agency market like they used to be at older ages, but high ratings. They're not out there anymore.
Yep.
Yeah. I wonder if that happens in like the player cycle generation and stuff. Boots has been saying this when I've been speaking to him. I think he said it on the show that he was on before last time. Like you've just said, there's not that many top tier QBs in this league, and like MIJB just said, there's a load of sort of middling guys. So is it going to take some of the guys to retire and kind of thin out the pool to generate some new elite QBs to come in? Or, we just don't seem to have the talent. Like if you go to recommend player on the screen there where you'd search for a player.
Oh, okay.
On the roster screen, and then change from free agents where it says free agents to current rosters and then QBs, and then just search it, and that will show you all the league's QBs there. So they're all the guys that are on rosters at the moment. And if you look, there's sort of 5, 6, maybe 7 at the top that you consider elite, and then there's everyone else.
Mm-hmm. I think also it has to do with, if you look at our past drafts, how many quarterbacks or quarterback drafts have there been where you saw a good amount of quality quarterbacks in the draft? Very little.
Yeah. The best one I can remember was the one where Ben got Brady at 1 and I got Horner at 2.
Yep.
And,
but I think if you go like 20 seasons back in time, you will see something like this as well. And you go back 40 seasons, we'll see something like this as well. So we'll have to work with this situation.
Yeah.
Well, how many years back was 2015 corner? I can look at them right here.
Yeah, it's like 12 seasons, I think, or 13 seasons. So he was 2015, 21-15.
21-15.
Same year as Donovan, actually. So Donovan was the one. Oh, yeah, he was taken by
Brady.
Yeah.
So you have Brady, Horner, Donovan.
Yeah.
That was a year Slam got mixed up.
Yeah.
Something happened with the tackle, whatever, and then he picked up the quarterback, Donovan. And he didn't really play Donovan. I was actually shocked. I was looking at Donovan's history.
I think he had a huge injury, didn't he? He played a handful of games, and I think he had a huge injury. If you have a look at his injury history, I seem to remember that was the next part of the story.
Yeah, but...
Good. Good, MJ. Oh, I have to load up that stuff again.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, look, see, his rookie season, very serious knee injury. Oh, that was in week 14, though, so he had a few games in the first season.
But
then he had the serious MCL.
If you look at it, after that, he rarely played.
Yeah, he was never the number one guy until Grimm got him, really. And he was, an 8-year player by that point.
Well, I try to get into situations like that you have a quarterback that you like but don't like, but you like him, but you don't really like him, but he's the best on your team. But then he's playing like 5 games, 10 games. It's you never know what you got.
Just thinking of Bart Tanner. That's all I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's probably been my last 10 seasons. Is you're playing okay, so you play, and then someone else starts, and then someone else starts. It's a quarterback carousel over here. I got to knock that shit off. So.
Oh, you had a great season. A very good season, Grimm.
Yeah, I think it was just those last 5 games that put me over the top. My defense was playing lights out, and that, young quarterback I have who's really not good at all, just, ended up holding down the fort. So,
I think you were at the bottom of your division. However, still with a winning record, and then you just turned it around and wound up winning the division.
Yeah, I was last in the division until week 16, where I pulled out that one and moved up, I think, 1 spot. And took it at the end. But yeah, just crazy season. I wasn't expecting to do anything like that. So, but yeah, so now I'm stuck with those same 2 quarterbacks again next year, fucking Mazza and Petrix or whatever the fuck you want to call them.
You love guys like this, though. When I look at a guy like this, straight away I think he's a Williamsburg QB.
Yeah, right.
Him or Michelli or some other guy that I didn't even know was in the league.
And
he's starting QB.
Only Grimm finds them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but then like you say,
Lucas Hastings fucking seasons ago where we won the bowl. I mean, that guy was rated like 19, I think, when he played that year.
I like it, man. You're creating cult heroes. That's what these are. These are cult heroes in Williamsburg.
Pretty much, dude. I enjoy it. But like I said, I would like to get a solid guy that can just, play for, 5 to 10 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
It'd be so nice. I'd like to have a Horner type or like even Donovan. I didn't at that point. I was trying to re-sign my defensive ends, and they wanted big bucks. So I'm like, I can't keep Donovan. So
Yeah.
The thing is, when those top quarterbacks, if they ever do hit the market, you just have to have the money. What was it, Kornick? When
Yeah.
Iowa lost him, and then Jugs bidded, what was it, 200 million or something like that, some crazy number, and he got him.
yeah, it was a lot on his first contract with Oakland. So yep.
Jugs always does that. He's very good at, if he wants someone, he gets them in free agency. He makes those big deals.
Yeah.
Well, and what he does, he plans ahead, so he knows a season ahead what kind of cap space he's got available
Yeah.
for the next off season. That's something I will never learn.
I mean, I'm the same. Cap management is sort of one of the parts of the games that I feel the least comfortable with, I think.
Well, you have $120 million, Millman. And
Yeah. Yeah.
most of your solid starters all signed.
Yeah, we got to do a few extensions. Horner has to be extended and a couple of other guys and stuff. But yeah, we need to. Last year, our offense was good, but the pass defense was really bad, and that really let us down because we were putting points up on people, but we were giving up a lot of yards. You know, the only way we were winning was by outscoring people. We were never really shutting anyone down. So I need to try and figure out about that.
Can you look up Koronek, because we were talking about him?
Is he retired or is he out there?
He retired.
He retired.
Okay, how would I find him? Did he play last season?
Chronicle. Yeah, he played last season. He retired this off season.
Did he retire this off season or was it
Oh.
last season?
I don't
Yep, he
think
did.
you see him because he played only 8 games
Okay,
for
I'll go
Oakland.
here. I got him right here. Okay, what do you need me to do?
Oh yeah.
Can you click on the scouting thing?
Oh, the scouting?
Yeah. A little bit to the top. Yeah. On the white block of nothing.
I gotta load up the thing. It's not.
That's a bit. Because, I mean, I know the league scouts are terrible, but what you would see is that he was not reaching his 70 rated figures until he was in his 7th season or so.
So you're saying there are players that are late bloomers that break out later on.
Right. Just
Interesting.
when he was walking away as a free agent, at that point it was even still questionable whether he was going to reach above 60. So
Interesting.
Was this the guy in the half bill trade?
Yes.
Yeah, he went the other way. Came from Hanalei to Iowa in the half bill trade. Yeah, that feels like so long ago now.
of course it's another pick. Makes so much more sense now.
So I mean, he had a good career in Oakland once he was there, and I think did Jugs win 2 bowls with him, or was it 1 bowl with him and 1 bowl with someone else? I can't quite remember.
I can't remember, but it will tell us.
No, must have been Oakland.
Does it say on his profile? It would say how many rings he's got, won't it?
Let's take a look.
Yeah, he won 1 championship with him. The championship that he won before that was with that Levi Dodge character.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it says it here, 2 rings.
Yeah. If you click on that list, it will tell you the years because I think he got Super
Oh,
Bowl
yeah, no.
MVP. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that
20
year he won. Yeah, Levi Dodge actually played, had the most yards, I guess. But yeah, Kornick was part of that championship too.
So 21-25 and 21-18.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty good career.
He got his money's worth out of him.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Another thing that was a surprise for me were the 3 GMs stepping down. That was a surprise.
Like,
Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea that Rob was leaving.
Yeah, I don't know how. I think you've been having some help from Road off and on over the last couple of seasons and stuff. But yeah, it was funny because in the waiting list thread, someone had said, I think Red Zone actually, ironically, had said that when people were putting their names on there, you're going to be waiting a long time because spaces never come up. So just be prepared. And then we had 3 at once.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah.
Well,
And
I just know that Rob started that new league, brand new, and there was a lot of people wanting to get in on this is my team, and it's right from the get-go, and I'm going to have all the records and shit for this team. So I know Whack joined that league, and he really liked it, so he's just like, Whack, I know, just got sick of losing. He just this is a storied franchise. When Greg ran that thing, Cap City was in the playoffs like almost every fucking season, He just couldn't get shit going over there. So he's just like, I'll give it to someone who can hopefully do something with the team.
Yeah, I think with IHOF as well, with the everyday simming and the short turnaround and stuff, if you haven't always got the time to check in on your roster or to check in at a crucial file stage or something like that, things can get out of hand quite quick,
Yeah, that's why I play one league.
Yeah, and you're always playing catch up.
Yeah,
if that happens. So.
Oh, we got 3 GMs that took it because we had a big list. Right now it's diminished to, I think there's 1 gentleman that's on there now.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. And I think 2 of them used to be in the league, maybe, or all 3 of them. Did they used to be in the league? I saw some people saying welcome back to them.
2 of them, I think.
I think Wes was in here before.
Yeah.
He was taken over in Rochester.
I guess it can get frustrating because we talked about this, Grim and I, when you have a team, you have a game plan or many game plans and they worked, and then the next season it's not working, and you're saying, what's going on? It's the same team, same game plans. And then I thought about the other teams are getting better as well. You have to think about. And they're also changing their game plan on you. So it's not really always the same, because I had to take a step back from that. And I can see, because we're all competitive, the frustration. And if it's not working out, you put your hands in the air saying, I can't take this losing.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of led to Bob's demise here too. It was just I honestly thought once he got that Jeffrey Crawford running back, that was it. I mean, he's got Britt Meyer, he's got Jeffrey Crawford, he's got Levon Arnold, he's got Hugh Wazowski. He's got all these pieces on offense to just fucking kick ass, and it just wasn't working, especially this season. I mean, he comes out of the gates and goes, 4-2, and then drops the next 4 games, and I think that was it for him.
Yes.
Just got frustrated. I mean, he was texting with us and stuff, Clay, so you saw the frustration building up. And then there's some other drama in some of the other leagues and some other players and shit, and it's like, So I understand it, yeah.
Oh, okay. That I don't know about.
Yeah, some shit in RZB and some shit in Willie B's league, I guess. I don't know. I don't care. It's like, I don't fight with other GMs about shit. It's just a fucking game. But I understand it. And I understand the frustration of having a pretty solid team that you just can't get going.
Well, I think it goes both ways. I had 2 fantastic seasons not so long ago, but I still have no idea what the magic thing was that made the team all of a sudden feel like it was unable to lose games. I mean, I got a quarterback and I got a tight end and a couple of good players on defense, but I'm still not sure what I did right.
I don't want to know that magic formula for me.
Right.
I'm going to speak for myself, because then if I know it, then there's no competition. Then it's just on autopilot. You follow me? I like the up and downs. I like where I'm saying, shit, I got to play Millman. And his fucking team is going to do this, that, and all this to me. And when I win, it feels good.
Yep.
When I lose, but it's close, it feels good because I know I gave it a good game because I'm playing a good team. And so that's more gratifying to me than to know the system and know this is always going to work and I'm going to blow past everybody.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I mean, I do think I made some key decisions that made my team do play well. But overall, I think my philosophy isn't that much different than it was like the 50 seasons before that. So it feels random at the same time, and it feels like okay, I did a couple of things right, and I think those are the things that I did well. But will I ever know for sure? No, I don't think so.
Yes, you can know for sure because your record tells you so. You've been
Right,
a division
right,
winner and you've been in the middle of the pack and you've been at the end. And to get to division winner, you have to be doing something correct. You have to be putting together a good team, a good game plan to make that happen. I
right.
think they spoke about the old GM from Moontown. He didn't have a winning record for like 30 years or something like that, or 30 seasons.
Hmm.
There is a situation that whatever players they put together and game plan, it just wasn't working. But yours, you showed that it does work, and we're going to go up and down those rides. You have the top GMs like Ben who know how to always win. You have also, but even Julio. Julio has a great team. He's a great GM, but he has
Yep.
his ups and downs here and there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have a 80-80 rated quarterback, and he's still winning 10, 11 games.
So yeah. What's your take, Melman?
I agree. I don't want to back solve the game, and I'm not smart enough to do that. So, because I've only been playing it a couple of years, it's still all fun for me. But I feel the same as you. Like I've been in situations before where I've been doing something, and I'm like, oh, why is this not working like it did before? And then you go, oh yeah, there's 16 other GMs in this calendar schedule that are trying to beat me, that want to make the playoffs in their conference and want to win their divisions and want to play their rookies and have their players do well and stuff. And that's why being in these online leagues is so much fun, because it's not just like playing these games in single player where you can, roll out and expect the same outcomes each time. I like that, I like that. And I think even speaking to Ben and to Tzak when he was in the league and stuff, they are so dominant, and Ben is so dominant. He's at the top of all the records. He's the most successful team. And he is he wins the most seasons, but he doesn't win the bowl every single year, which is nice. So even though he is as dominant as he is, there's other teams that have got to the top and won the bowl, and there's teams have beaten him in the playoffs and stuff in the earlier rounds a few times and things like that. So I like all that. I like that there is that variation, even for the guys who are as good at the game really as you can get.
Right. So there's randomness, but when you're good enough, when you're really good, like Ben's team, he's been like the second best team in the league for like 10 straight seasons.
Yeah.
So eventually he's going to get past it and win a ball or two.
Exactly. But not enough to demoralize everyone else who's trying to do it as well. He's not winning it just without even thinking.
Right.
Everyone else is still kind of. I mean, you had that game where we played in the bowl.
Right.
The game before that, you shut his team down. I don't think I've ever seen his team get beaten like that in the playoffs. I think was it you held him to 2 scores, maybe was it or something?
Wow, I think it was 54-19, something like that.
I mean that was a crazy game.
It was bizarre. And the game before that was very similar. We crushed, I think it was Toronto, but I'm not sure which team it was. It was like 2 straight games, and like, wow, we might actually win this ball game. We're playing against a team we played we played like 50-50 game, and then we get destroyed in the ball game.
Yeah, when I saw that result against Tucker, when I clicked on the link in the forum and I saw that was probably the first time I went, wow, that was a serious statement there. And I started sweating on the bowl game, thinking, man, I didn't know what to do. But
you got your ring.
Dice rolls
You got your
happened.
ring.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what makes the league for me fun. Seeing teams at the bottom rise to the top, and just that rotation of teams. And you look at a division, you're like, I have no clue who's going to take this division, and it's just a cutthroat. Like Grimm's division last
Yeah.
season.
We are ridiculous again, man. Jesus.
Wasn't the worst record was 10-6 in that division or something?
Yep.
Let's go back to that.
And that is crazy. Our conference this year was really tough. Like that's why the playoff race in our division, Clay, you had to win the division to have a chance because Grimm's division was so strong.
So I'd like to add one more thing. I mean, my team has been to a bowl game like 5 times or 4 times, and every time I know when I look back, I had some key moment where I had to make some kind of decision that really, really made the difference. And usually, and most of the time, it was about the quarterback situation. But in the middle of all the randomness, there's always a couple of key moments that make or break the team. And that's something. Maybe that's what you meant, Clay. That's that you keep playing and eventually make the right decision, and you get close, or you actually win it all.
You just said it perfectly. There is a moment that you look at your team and you say, this is the way I want my team to play, and you try to get those players on your team, and it starts working that formula, and you start winning because you put together the right game plan, the right team. It's not going to win all the time, but at least it makes you competitive. And I tell this to Grim, I think I said it many times on this show, the season for me is my playoffs. Every game I play is a playoff game. So I live and die by each game because I love seeing my team, my players play. And, the losses hurt, they suck. But the wins are the highs at the end of the day. And so I soak that part up. I don't like to rush to the end and see if I make the playoffs. I try to, what's the word I'm looking for? Taking everything on my way to the end of the season.
Try
You
and
enjoyed it, Tony.
Yeah, savor the season. Yeah, I like it too because they come and go so quick, and if you don't make the playoffs and stuff, then your season feels, it does feel short. So it is nice to stop and smell the roses and have a look at everyone's teams throughout the season and see who's doing what and stuff. Yeah,
correct.
But
and I always look back when we play Moment. I always say, okay, this is the first game we played, and now I'm like, I know it's going to come down to this last game against me in Arizona to see whatever, if we can make the playoffs, I should say. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's the fun side of it. Like you were just saying, MIJB, it's got randomness, but there's just enough influence in there that you can feel like the decisions you're making and the way you're trying to go can influence things positively, and negatively. So, and that's what keeps us playing, I think. We all want to pretend to be GMs. So,
yes, most of us still do. Yeah.
Jobs had a good season. Something happened that he fell down a little bit, but he was doing very well. I'm sure he's happy with his outcome. I was hoping he would have came on.
It said he looked like he was going to make it, but yeah. Well, he just had that stretch where he lost 3 in a row, so then 2 in a row at the end.
That was the thing with our conference this year. If you lost, 2 in a row, that was enough to swing it for someone else. Yes. And to let someone else through. So
well, I can almost guarantee you that I am not going to win the division again with a 2-4 division record. Dude, it was bad.
That's pretty crazy.
Yep.
It's that streak at the end, though, that 5 games in a row got you up there.
Yep, that did it for me. Like I said, they're just, my defense was playing lights out. My rookie running back, I think he had almost 700 yards in those 5 games. He was running well. And, the young quarterback, he wasn't turning the ball over. He wasn't throwing touchdowns really either, but, he's just making enough plays.
Yeah.
This guy right here. Wow.
No, Mazza got benched.
No. I'm talking about your running back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is him.
That's a nice bar profile.
Yeah, it is. And he dropped, I think, 10 points. 7, 8 maybe? Yeah.
Don't go by my scouts, like I said. You probably see him better.
No, I don't. What do I see him as? On my team, he's 57 on my team. So
This guy was
But
a rookie, was he? He was a
Yep.
rookie.
yeah, I think he was supposed to be probably 65. Right? I think he dropped 8 points.
Yeah, he dropped back on his whole recognition, but he's still 75, so that's good enough.
Yep.
Yeah, that breakaway speed as well. That's nice. Break off a few big runs, and he can be a factor in the passing game if you
And
if you're into that.
and the
Yep, I am.
endurance.
I know Snapfinger. He's been picking up quarterbacks left and right. And he's trying to find that replacement for
Leach.
Leach, and he still can't find it. See his quarterbacks? All these guys right here. He's got this guy here. He picked up at 1.9. He picked up this guy at 1.1. And he has this guy at, oh, that was a 4th round. He had another one. I think he traded him, I believe.
He took those guys in the same, back-to-back drafts. I don't know if I would have taken that guy. I wouldn't know if I would have taken either of these guys at those slots, unless they've dropped massively, even if I did need a QB.
Well, the surprising thing, too, is he's got 2 first-round quarterbacks on his roster. They're both young, and he's got no mentor for him. So that's why they're not developed.
And look at the cap cost as well. It's
Yep.
it's not cheap having a 1-1 and a 1-9 on the roster. And yeah, no mentor. That's not going to help.
So going back to the quarterback race and Hunt, everybody's looking for that quarterback, and I feel like they're just now prime, just up there, or maybe even better than wide receivers I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, they're the most important position, and I don't know if I'm influenced by my own QB and how good he's been for me. Maybe I am. I'm lucky to have a good QB in another league as well, in the RZB. So I feel like when those guys go, when Horner retires and stuff, that's going to be a big problem for me.
But
Yeah, I think watching Horner over these years now is really what convinced me that quarterback is a position you really need, because you've really had nothing to throw to for most of his career. No great tight ends, no great wide receivers, and he's still. I mean, you're still winning.
Yeah, because I came in and I think I went 9-7 with like Rick's roster that he left, and then I had a year at 6-10, and then 4-12 was the draft year for Horner, and then after that, I think we had a winning record. So it was like I wasn't picking high up enough to be getting a good wide receiver or a good tight end or anything like that. So it was just I had to be getting 3-bar guys. If I had to get a guy with route running and either big play or maybe a bit of getting downfield or some avoid drops or whatever, and I was having to spread it out across 6 or 7 guys. There was never anyone on the roster that could take that much of a workload.
well, here it is. You had 2021-15. You went 6-10, and then after that, 10-6, 10-6, 13-3, 11-5, 12-4, 11-5, 14-2, 12-4, 10-5-1, 10-6, 10-6. Always double-digit wins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Since you got Horner.
Yeah, that year of 6-10, our whole division went 6-10. Clay,
I remember that.
I remember that, but that was a ridiculous
Oh,
year.
yeah.
The whole division went 6-10. It was just we were all.
Who made the playoffs? Clay, was it Clay?
Yes,
Yeah, Clay made the playoffs at 6-10.
That was I didn't want it.
He still had Ike. That was like your older team, and I think who was the receiver you had for ages?
Oh, we can go back. I can do it.
Huntley.
Not Ralph Powell, is it, or something like that? Was it?
No, it was Huntley.
Oh, was it Huntley? Yeah, that was it. Huntley.
Yep.
I can't believe Ike went 6-10.
Yeah, and he threw for almost 6,000 yards that year too.
Something happened. We were on
That
drugs or something.
must have been the defense, man, that year, because none of us we couldn't stop a nosebleed. I don't think any of us. So, but yeah, I've been lucky with him. But as you see, it's like it's been 10 wins the last few seasons, so it's getting fewer and fewer. And like long-time running back just retired. Guys are aging out, basically. So we're coming to the end of this particular like cycle of the roster.
But you have a running team, and so you don't think you can have what's the word that MJ was saying? Quarterback managing quarterback to get your team to always be winning because you have a good running team.
Yeah, I honestly I don't know. I don't know because I've only really had Horner in this league. I don't know. I'd like to think that maybe I don't always have to have a QB that I took at 1-2 in order to be successful. But we'll have to wait and see what happens in the next few seasons when he eventually retires. I don't really know how long he's going to go for because he's only wanted 1 year extensions, and then I signed him for a 2 year or a 3 years. So I'll have to see what he wants this season. I don't know if that's an indicator about when he thinks he's going to retire or anything like that. I know it's experience, isn't it? Usually seasons played or whatever, but
he might be around for another 5 seasons.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing if he was.
Wilson retired at 40.
Yeah,
whatever.
That'd be nice because he was young. He was young when I drafted him. I think he was 20 when we drafted him. So
yeah. So long as you just make sure he's always got another year left on his deal, he probably won't retire.
Oh yeah, I'd never let him walk. Especially there's no tag in this league, is there? So I'd never let him get to the stage where he wasn't going to be coming back. He is the franchise, basically. Since McQueen retired, or McQueen took a big hit, that running back that I used to have, who was really dominant for about 6 seasons, it's been Horner. He's the most important player.
Yeah, because you'd be in a bidding war with everybody if Horner hit the market.
I wouldn't ever let it happen. I'd cut everyone else and just keep him and then have a load of scrubs on the roster if that ever happened. But I think offensive line's important as well. I've got 2 good tackles, so they're probably actually going to be almost, maybe not as impactful, but certainly some of the way there when they both retire. A guy I traded with Ben for and a guy that I drafted.
Which one, Schultz?
No, that's a guy that I took last year. Just those 2 tackles, yeah. Duffy is a guy that I drafted, and then Woods is a guy that I traded with Ben for when Ben couldn't re-sign him. And these 2 guys, they keep the QB safe and they set the edge on the run and stuff. So
yeah,
absolutely.
They've both been so important for the makeup of my team, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, looking back, my team excelled when I had 2 excellent offensive tackles. So
yeah,
you might have something here.
Go ahead, say that again, MJ.
When like I just said, when my left tackle walked away, free agent, my team fell apart. And now Clancy's going to walk away as well. So
did that other left tackle? Did he go to Toronto? Was that who signed him in free agent?
Yeah, he did.
Is he still on there? Have a look on Toronto, Clay, just to see what he's like.
He dropped a bit, but
what's the name?
Yeah, Barry Finley.
Finley.
Oof.
Yeah, and he's only 27 as well.
And he had one of those weird volatility changes where some bars go up and some go down, and he looks like a very different player than he was on my team.
Yeah,
but maybe that's the age thing as well.
And he's smart.
Yeah, he's smart. He's a mentor. He's only 27, and he's a 77 rated. I mean, he looks great. Did he want crazy money?
I think I offered something similar, but yeah. Something like this.
But every GM, and I know you guys do the same, you have certain positions that you will pay whatever to keep them on your team because they make your team run.
I never expected I would lose this player, but something happened in my calculations and I made the right offer for him, but another offer didn't go through that would feel like it would 9 out of 10 times go through, and then this guy was never going to be a free agent. But
even in free agency, you offered the most money, 5 years at $291 million, and you took 5 years, $267 with Toronto.
I did.
That's crazy. Interestingly, something I've noticed about like native left tackles, so guys that aren't, that are coming in as left tackles. A lot of them seem to profile with the body of like a center. they're kind of sub £300. Like the guy that I traded for from Ben.
Right.
When I mean, when he was coming out in the draft, I liked him. I think Ben took him at the end of the first, and he was like 280 something or 290 something. And Draft Analyzer sometimes tells you like, oh, the real position is a centre. But I've just kept him at tackle, and he's always been good for me. Yeah, like 296. So I know it's not that much off, but whenever I see a sub £300 lineman who's not a centre, I'm always a bit like, oh.
Yeah, me too. But watching these guys play now, it's like maybe I can have a under 300-pound tackle.
Yeah, but
it's like those midget quarterbacks.
no, I won't be convinced with the midget quarterbacks.
That's what you need, Grim, a midget quarterback and an undersized left tackle.
Maybe I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
I was able to get this rookie left tackle. He's not a left tackle people would pick up in the first round, but he did very well for me.
Yeah, but that's the bar you need, isn't it?
Yes.
Pass-looking bar.
From my team. 3 sacks he allowed. That's all I needed from this guy as a left tackle.
Yeah.
Especially with Chicago, Iowa. They've been having a good defense as well.
Yeah.
He just hasn't gotten over that hump.
No, I think he struggles on offense, and he persists with Bauer, doesn't he, at QB? I think. I know I've seen him comment a few times after games saying, is Bauer going to get any better, or why is this happening, or whatever? But I just don't think he's ever going to. I think he is what he is, isn't he? 8 seasons in, he's going to play the way he always plays.
He throws a lot of interceptions.
Yeah.
A lot of interceptions.
I don't know. I tried to trade for him, I think, 3-4 seasons ago. And Jay-Z just said, nah, I got to keep him. So.
He does. He's got to keep faith in this guy.
Just see what's his avoid interceptions on the website.
Yeah,
is it low?
It's got to be tricky. And sense rush is also a little bit low. But
yeah, it says 30. Avoid interceptions is 30. So that's always going to hurt you, man. Anything sub 50 for me is like that's always going to hurt you. In my opinion.
What am I looking for? Miscellaneous. He was sacked 31 times. That's
just like twice a game.
30. But he's only throwing. Where is it? 500 times. So he would probably be in the 40s if he threw 600 times. Being sacked.
Yeah. And I think touchdowns and stuff, touchdown numbers don't always tell the picture. A lot of times I think they're like a product of the whole offense, the offensive scheme and who else you've got else around you. But interceptions and stuff is just.
Yeah, and this guy, he's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns in his career too. So.
Yeah. And what's his salary? Is he getting paid a lot?
He's getting paid 61.
Yeah, I'll have a look at the cap hits to see what the QBs are. I haven't looked at that page in a while. So the average for so he's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's the 8th highest cap hit for a QB.
Well, I clicked on this. Top 5 average is 61 million, so he's up there.
Yeah.
Franchise player salaries.
Yeah. So Horner is only earning like 600K more than him. And then Donovan is earning like 3 million less, your guy Clay. So that's kind of the scale that he's on. So Horner's not earning much more. And a 71 rated Zach Peters in Frederick and Tucker, they're all in the 60s as well. So there's elite QBs earning a similar level of money and putting up better stats, and then QBs who are in that middle of the pack, like Donovan in terms of his rating and stuff, but his performance levels are much higher and he's earning less money. So that's tough for a team that's always up against the cap. That sort of stuff I think is tough because
yes,
could you do something different with someone else?
He's trying to get over that hump with the cap situation. He's 54 million in cap hell right now.
Well, the other thing I noticed, other than the situation with the file on that last export, was didn't he released like
Yeah,
seven
there is
players.
a lot of players. Yeah.
Some of them were like in the 70s, a guy in the 70s, and then some guys in the 50s, a couple of 60 guys. They released 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players, 4 of whom were like 50 or higher, 2 of whom were 60, and 1 was 75. So
yeah, I saw those releases. I was like, what the hell is he doing?
that's why I was so confused, because at first I noticed that and I was like, what the hell is happening? And then this file thing, I was like, what is going on this stage? Is crazy.
Does he have to now pay for it next season with
Both. Look at his
bonus?
lost cap situation. He's got 159 lost cap room. That's huge.
Wow.
And it's for the
damn.
next off season. So
But 34 players on the roster and 94. Well, what is 54? Is it in terms of room under the cap? So he's over by 54, and he's only got 34 players on the roster.
I believe Howie said he should just let everyone go, just get some scrubs for now, very low expensive players, ride it out for 3 years, get your cap back to normal, and then build from there.
Yeah.
Because you're
I don't
always going
even
to be
think
on
you
a
need-
cycle. What?
I don't think it even takes 3 seasons to go through that cycle.
How long you think you would put?
Well, at least 1 season. Look at my team last season. So maybe a couple, but yeah. Let's say maybe Howie's right. In 3 seasons, you can be back in being competitive.
Not competitive, getting your cap under control.
Yeah, it's
Getting the
not
cap
about-
under control. I think, looking at my team, I think it's 2 seasons when you do it efficiently, at most.
Yeah. I mean,
Because you can accelerate it to 1 off season, and then you're stuck with 1 more off season, and then you are free to go.
yeah, it's just crazy to release 9 players and I'm not having I'm not digging him out or having a pop at him or whatever, saying it's a bad thing, if that's what he wants to do. But the stress I couldn't take it if I was in that situation. I couldn't look at my team if that was what I was having to go through. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't even load the game because I'd just be too stressed out by it. So,
Yeah, but the alternative is going through an off season trying to trade those players, and nobody even offers a 7th round pick, and eventually you're going to get them all still. So
yeah, well, you're negotiating from a weak position, aren't you? Because people know you've got big cap problems and stuff, so you wouldn't get like true value for the players. But if you wanted to reset and give yourself a chance at being cap compliant at some point, but because how can you see him fielding a roster of 53 at the moment? Think of how much work there is to figure that out mathematically.
he still needs these 2 most expensive players to drop like the 50 million, and every undrafted rookie accounts for 1 million as well. So you still need to get 70 million under the cap to even be able to sign undrafted rookies.
Yeah, and so if he's got 7 draft picks, that's 41 players under contract, and then he's not going to be able to make any offers on anyone unless he caps guys out, which will screw him again for next year. Renege guys, cut more guys and stuff.
If you look at the screen now, save if release, he's got 2 guys in the $40 million. After that, it's 20 million, 20 million, 20 million, and it's not really much to help out. And the 2 guys, one of them is his quarterback, as you can see.
Who, for career numbers, has more interceptions than touchdowns. If you're looking at resumes, you'd say that QB, if you could save most of that dead cap or most of that over the cap on cutting him, and then maybe a couple of role players, that might be the move, and just cut your losses on Bauer. But he loves Bauer. Like, he's stuck with him all this time. He's paying him, so I don't think he'll do that.
But I do agree with you, Millman. If my QB is throwing too many interceptions, that's hurting my team than helping my team, and I can't get a game plan for him to help him, I would just say he's not helping me. He's more damaging than good. And then find somebody that can help me and get rid of him, because he's hurting him twice. He's hurting him with his interceptions, and he's hurting him with his salary.
Yeah, exactly. You're paying him to lose your games, basically.
Yeah.
And give away, give the opposition extra possessions and stuff, because those are so costly. You can have a good defense like he's had, but Bauer's the type of QB that will throw the game away, make a boneheaded interception and give a late pick six or something like that, or and that's tough. It is tough to get out of those situations. So, and there can't be a QB in that middle of the pack of free agency guys that would do worse than Bauer necessarily, and he'd probably do it for like 40% of the money.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Absolutely.
So that's just, yeah. But is anyone else badly over the cap this year? Has anyone else got stuff to sort out?
That's a good
I'm
question.
under.
You're under.
I'm far under.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's got 25 million.
So like a kid on Christmas morning, and it's so happy to have the money.
Atlanta's 14 million under. Augusta's good. Bordeaux is only 40,000. Got people with a lot of money out there.
Click on so that red button, Team Cap Needs List. If you click on that, it will show everyone's cap situations as well.
Yeah, there's
Show
4
me
teams
where?
under the cap right now.
So next to recommended players, yeah, that one, yeah. So that will show there you go.
Oh,
It's a
there you
cap
go.
room.
See,
So
something I just
it doesn't show how much they're over, but it just shows that they're over. So if they got 0, that means they're over by a certain amount. Yeah, so only 4 teams in the league are over. That's not bad. Ben's one of them.
Well, Ben can get rid of his whole team and build it in 2 seconds.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he's got a quarterback to not even need a real wide receiver. So
That's what he'll do. He'll just keep the quarterback, maybe one wide receiver. Everyone's gone. He'll put it back together like Mal Powell and do damage.
Some guys have got big money in this offseason. Chicago, Outer Banks, Chesapeake. That's a lot of money, close to 200 million in free agency cap room. But like Chesapeake always has a lot of cap. I don't know if that's a chemistry team thing where he never pays anyone that much, but
who took over Rochester?
Wes from
Someone's
RZB.
coming on. Hold on, someone's coming on.
Jobs. I think.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Yo, how's it going?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Good.
Sorry I'm so late.
We gave your team some praise, and then we put it down afterwards.
Why did you put it down? It's perfect.
We did not.
What have I missed then?
We were just talking about surprises in the league, where we went over teams. We went over the new GMs, the GMs that stepped down. We are now going over the quarterbacks, and we're going over salary cap money problems for teams that it's going on.
Oh, nice.
We talked about your division, which was dominant, 11-5, 10-6, 10-6, 10-6. You want to tell us about your team a little bit?
Yes. I mean, firstly, it's the stupidest division ever, and I hate it. And everyone in it, especially you, Grim.
Yep.
You fucker.
Yep.
My team, I was pretty buzzed this year because Williamson came good and totally justified the trade. And I'm also half tempted to put in some like designed runs going in for him going forward because he had like 639 yards. And I figured if I get him just running a bit more, maybe 1 or 2 extra carries a game, just see what that would do. I don't know. And the running game's really good. Sergio Foreman is a baller. I didn't even use Kanaga, or whatever his name is, however you pronounce it.
Yep.
But Foreman I like because he's got really good speed to the outside. So I do a couple of in 104, I do a couple of sweeps, and he always gets really good yards off that. I normally only give like 5 carries a game, but he's great off that. Tight ends are fine. Bernard Schmee was a pretty great pickup as a rookie. I love him. Sorry, I realize I'm jumping around and you're trying to quickly keep up.
Continue. Don't stop. Okay. Don't stop.
But Schmee, I love.
Oh God, he was a 5th round pick too. Wow.
Yeah, he
nice.
Was. He'd been on my list for 8 because I think there were like 2 or 3 really good tight ends in the draft last year, and he was really high on my list, and he was just awesome. So I think like when those bars fill out, you know, he's going to be the 3rd target on the roster, whatever happens, but I'm really pleased with him because the other 2 I had, I think, who I picked up in free agency, Caleb Carr and Gregory Tate, are decent, and they were decent the year before, but they got completely sidelined by Schmee. And I don't think I need any receivers this offseason. Like, Sanderson's still good. I'm going to try this. Saga Polutele. I think I nailed that. Is awesome. Like, I think he will be really good. I mean, he was really low developed, so he's taken until this season to really get going. But like that route running and avoid drops and courage is just designed for slants. So I love him.
It's one of those wide receivers that the less targets you give him, the more he's going to produce.
Yeah. I think at about 80 to 90 is about the right range for him. Sanderson's a weird one because I don't know. I really just use Sanderson for 3rd downs. But I always want more than he gives me. But I like him because he was a 5th round pick. Saga Polutele was a 5th round pick.
Yeah,
that's your money round. You get that.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Jesus.
The 5th round comes around, you're getting ready to feast.
Maybe I should just start trading away my first 4 round picks. But and then who else have I got that I really like? Obviously, my left side of my line is amazing.
Say it again.
The left side of my O line is amazing.
Yes. Braxton Boyd and CJ Bernstein. Yep.
Yeah. They're just ridiculous.
So, just a little tangent, we were looking at one of the teams earlier that needed a QB, and he'd taken those 2 QBs that weren't very good in the top 10 or whatever. Like, probably wasn't the same draft class, but if there's a guy like this, that Braxton Boyd, I have no problem taking him super high and keeping him forever. A player like that, I think, is worth more than a subpar QB, even if you've got the need.
Oh, yeah, that's like I was just talking about with Chris, that safety on Hanalei, he picked him at 1-2. And a game like he played against me, that motherfucker had 3 interceptions in our conference championship game. It's like, holy shit. But yeah, I guess it's worth taking a safety at 1-2.
Exactly. I mean, if they're going to make a difference, it's worth having them. And that tackle will make a difference.
Joe, we were talking about that we're seeing quarterbacks are rising to the top again, that they're becoming more premier, that people are looking to grab them. And that's where this conversation is coming from. And now people are reaching for QBs, but they're not getting the top QBs. They're getting middle to below average quarterbacks, but paying top 1st round picks for them, like they used to do with the wide receivers. That's the trend that seems to be going the way it is in our league right now.
The thing I find really interesting is I don't think so this league is incredible, and I think the vast majority of GMs are amazing. It's what makes it so fun to be in. But I think people have got to realize what they're about. So, like, I do not know what I'm looking at in quarterback drafts. Like, unless, like, I'm at 1-1 and all the blue bars are right at the end, I cannot pick a dud from a stud. So I just don't bother. Like, I'll let Ben draft them and then pick up whoever his second string is a few years down the line, because I just don't think you need a great QB. I mean, I had that when I traded for whatever his face was that never won anything. I've forgotten his name now.
Not Edwin Anthony, because you had him for a little while, didn't you?
Yeah, not him. Yeah,
I can go to your
Cushman.
history.
Cushman.
Oh yeah, Cushman. Yeah.
You know, Cushman's bars were amazing, and I got some crazy stats out of him. But he won 2 division titles in 9 seasons, and immediately with Williamson, I've already had back-to-back winning seasons. I haven't made the playoffs, but like, I think you got to know what you're about. And I think what the big thing that I've realized is I actually think I'm better at working out a defense than I am with the offense. Like, I think offense is get some good receivers and let them do their thing. And what I've done on defense is I purely built it around my DBs, basically. So I went through a period of like 3 seasons where I was game planning on D for every single game.
I still do.
But, well, I and I tweak it. Like, if I'm playing quick, for example, I have a game plan for Chesapeake that I always run. But for the rest of it, I sit in a cover 3 cloud shell because Silas Cardinal has like a 1,000,000-man defense, and it used to be Usatalo was maxed out on zone, so I'd have one corner just playing man, everyone else in zone, and TJ Levo, who you just had highlighted, is sat at free safety, goes and gets like 8 to 9 picks a season. So I've just started leaving it in cover 3 for the vast majority of instances, and then I'll throw in a couple of tweaks here and there. But like, my DBs are just crazy.
So you
Yeah,
don't
you
think
had the number 9
quarterbacks,
defense.
Jobs, you don't think quarterbacks are really valuable as much as wide receivers?
I think it depends entirely on what you're doing, and I'm starting to come back round to just building a roster on best player available as the way to go. Like,
Interesting.
an average QB can look amazing with great wide receivers, but like, I'm not Ben, or I'm not quick or anything. I'm not gonna like be able to massively elevate people, I don't think. So I think it's just building about the best well-rounded roster. So if the QB's there, great. If the receiver's there, great. But like, to the point you're making earlier, if there's a safety at 1-2 that's maxed out bars, yeah, I'll just take the safety.
Okay, here's a situation, because Millman brought this up. These 2 quarterbacks were taken high in the first round. One was taken at 1-1. The other one was taken at 1-9. And then you have Boyd sitting there. Most of the time, people are taking the quarterbacks and reaching. And here's the reach that we're speaking of. When you have a left tackle sitting out there, you know, the expression's not sexy that people like to use. This is what happens on that. Because a lot of people don't want to take a defensive player, a lineman, at the top 5 pick for some reason. But you're going the opposite, saying it's the best player available. So if there's an offensive lineman or it is a safety at 1-2 or 1-3, I'm picking it. Correct?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at my roster, Boyd I took at 1-6. And I also have Gus Boone at outside linebacker, who I took at 1-5.
Yeah, I see Boyd at 1-6. And then who was the other one?
Gus Boone, outside linebacker. And Boone has been awesome for me. Like, 10 sacks a season, pretty much every year. he's regressed a little bit, but like he was, he's 3-time second team dog bites. He was all rookie. Like, he's just awesome. So I just stick him out. He was a D end, I think, that was crazy, and I converted him to outside linebacker, and I just blitz him on every play. And like, he can be a game wrecker. So like, a quarterback's great, but if you got someone like that, and like, whose team was it this year that had the two DNs that combined for like 40 sacks?
Oh, it was Colorado, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Colorado.
Like,
Yeah.
it kind of doesn't matter what you've got on offense. If someone's living in your backfield, there's nothing you can do against that. So I think like just almost like you would in the NFL, like in real life, if we were all real GMs, which I think we'd be amazing at. Just pick the best player.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I agree with that in a broad sense. Like, I feel like I've gotten worse at drafting since I started the game, but I don't know how much is like overthinking things, or trying to look for the secret tells that I think Ben or Mount Powell are looking for. But I've just tried to strip it back the last few years and just been like, look, the best player is who I should be taking here, because you're going to need them. You're going to need them over the next 4, 5, 6 seasons. It's not just about the next season; it's about the years after that as well. And you can't always think about need, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like, overthinking is that really gets me. Like, the amount of times I sit there staring at someone and I'm like, oh God, are they really worth it? And it reminds me 9 seasons ago of a conversation I had with you, Tom, on Slack about a wide receiver called Amos Francis.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I want to take him at 1.5 or like 1.3 or whatever. And you were like, well, I don't think he's like going to be that great. He's a second-year-old guy. No. And I was like, yeah, fuck it, I won't bother. And then he turned into a 65 rated receiver and was like the second best receiver in that draft.
Isn't he on Tucker now?
Yeah, he is.
So did Ben take him in that draft?
Yeah, he did. He took him at 128, and he's got 9,000 yards already.
Right, that's exactly why touchdowns. No one should listen to me when it comes to drafting. Ask for my advice at your own peril when it comes to drafting.
I'm still bitter about it. Every year I look at him.
It sounds like the more we're knowledgeable, the more we sabotage ourselves.
I think it's just drafting is difficult in this game, but I think there's a certain mystique about it. And with Maltpow, and now Maltpow's more active again in the league and stuff, and I think everyone wants to see what he's seeing and try and beat him at his own game or try and compete with him at that sort of stuff. And I can't be good at enough things in this game to compete with everyone. So I have to probably just pick a few things that I want to try and dial in on. And then drafting, I just have to not hurt myself. And then if I can pick, if I can see what I think I'm seeing and pick a few decent guys and stuff, then that's good for me. But I can't, as long as I'm not hurting myself with bad picks, whether it's reaches or trying to go for, guys with a hidden static or the masking and all that sort of stuff, because I just can't do it at the same level as Ben. As Nemesis is really good at it as well. Mount Powell, obviously, there's loads of good drafters. So, yeah, you can't win on every front, I don't think.
I do love that thread in the forum of like, what did he see in this guy? And it's Mount's just random shit picks who then turn into 70 overalls. And you're like, what?
Oh, yeah. If you look at his roster, he's loaded, dude.
It's ridiculous.
Well, they're comfortably when, every week there's the power rankings or whatever's in the weekly thread and stuff. His roster score is always like 15 points higher than everyone else's just because the talent is so...
I mean, look at that center he's got. He got him at 2.5.
This is Ben's roster. I thought you were going to look at that receiver we were talking about, Clay, that I talked Jocks out of taking. Amos Francis. He's like the top one. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, don't take him. Yeah. Oh, no. That's terrible.
It's so
98 touchdowns as well.
Let's open up his card a little bit more.
Oh, I mean, he looks pretty good to me. Straight from the off as well. Second season, he had 19 touchdowns.
Oh.
I mean, that's just disgusting.
Yeah, and his combines were garbage. That's why I wasn't looking at him.
I did wonder why I hadn't heard from you in 9 drafts ever since that conversation.
Do you
My
guys?
Slack.
I'm still fuming.
Do you guys? You guys don't mind an under 6 foot wide receiver? I assume.
No, I don't mind it. I don't
No,
think
not
it's
at all.
indicative of anything. I like a 6'3" receiver, but I don't. Yeah, I don't worry too much about a 5'11", 5'10" guy.
No, I don't mind either. In real life, I think 5'9" receivers and under are terrible. My wife's giving me a look because I'm 5'9", but it's fine. I'm not
So
in
you
the
want to make a
NFL.
good wide receiver.
Yeah, I was a good slot, but like, yeah, I don't think it matters that much. But you know, I do like one guy over 6 foot on the outside, just because it feels nice. It's like it feels right.
Yeah, my big guys, I'll play at split end. Then the flanker and slots are for the short guys.
Yeah, the short, speedy guys.
We did talk about something, Jobs, that I'd like to hear your opinion on. We spoke about how we like the ups and downs of the league with your team, where you build them up, you rise to the top, you come crashing down, you rebuild again, and you're going through that fluctuation, and it just makes it exciting. How is it for you?
That's a great question. I mean, it can be soul destroying when you open a season 0-4 and you're like, oh God, it's 3 more weeks before I can fix this. I've just got to make do with it. It's so hard because every off season you come away and you think like, yeah, I think I've done all right there. I'm in a pretty good position. And then you start and it just all goes horribly wrong. And I think particularly in mine and Grimm's division, it's just so brutal. It's so relentless. Like this season when I started and Quick's winning every single game, and then all of a sudden we have a bad back end to the season, which in any other division would be fine, but Grimm and Nem then go and win every game. And like, but it keeps you coming back because like you say, you always feel like you're one thing away from getting it right. Like, you know, if I look at my last few seasons, since my last division, I've gone 7-8-1, 7-9, 7-9, 9-7, 10-6. I still haven't been back to the playoffs, but I'm so close. I'd like next year, I think I might be 16-0, but you know, I probably also will be 6-8 or 6-10. I might be 6-8.
So do you bang your head against the wall when you did well one season, game plan, team, and everything, same team, same game plan, or another game plan, and you shit the bed, and you say to yourself, "How is this happening? I just dominated last season. Nothing really
Well,
changed."
if you go back a long way back, and I remember, I think we did a video chat just afterwards. But I went 13-3 one season, and the next season I went 3-13. I changed nothing. And
that shit sucks.
And that's, I think, one reason. Like, it's maddening, but you like, it must be all within my control. Like, I must have done something, but yeah, it is infuriating because I think like if you look at a lot of my games this season, we got pick sixes, and you know, and those are like dice rolls, I guess, you know. So there's a bit of me that's like, are we actually a 10-6 team, or did I get a lucky roll of the dice in 4 games and really we should have been 6-10?
You can't think like that, because then you can also, I would put the opposite side to you, saying when you lost games, did the luck go on the other person's side, or I should say the dice rolls go on the other person's side, and they're really not that type of a team. You're really a better team. So you have to throw that away. You are a 10-6 team, period.
I think the thing that always I think makes me laugh is I'm just so in awe of Ben. Like, I think with any game there's someone who just gets it, but like he never falters. Like, that team is ridiculous, and every year that, you know, even before he went and got that stupid trade and got the best quarterback in the last 30 years,
Right.
like, he's just relentless, and he makes it look, you know, we don't know how much because he spent loads of years on it, but he makes it look so effortless as well. Like, it doesn't matter, you know, his team's going to be in the playoffs. I think when he was on a call, actually, we went through it, and I think he's only missed like something stupid like 6 playoffs in 200 years or something.
Yeah, the last playoffs he missed was 2087. Jesus Christ.
I mean, look at that. He's 13-3 or 14-2 every year.
That is nuts, isn't it?
Insane.
And the question I asked before, which this is why I asked this question, if you're constantly winning like this, and let's say you figured out the secret, is it fun because you know now what to do to win? Or is it more fun where you're not sure, you're putting the pieces together, you do win, so it's gratifying, but when you lose, it's heartbreaking. And it makes it more juicy to win. That's just my take.
When we look at this team now, getting Brady was a crucial moment, and that was, I think that's that's the moment that made this team so great. I mean, he's still gonna be 10-6 every season, but with Brady, he's gonna be 42 every season.
Yeah. Because I think that Terry guy that he was running with before, or Taylor, one of those guys, had like hardly any bars. He was like 36 years old and he had hardly any bars, but somehow Ben was caressing him into being this amazing QB. But yeah, and I think that's why there was all that, you know, I'm doing the quotes with my fingers, that outrage when he traded in at 1.1 with Fort Wayne, because it's like, you've just handed this guy a dynasty. You know, it's there on a plate. There was 2 QBs at the top of that draft that, you know, if Ben wants to trade in at 1-1 and there's a QB at the top, you can have a pretty good guess of who he wants. But yeah, I think Red Zone called it, didn't he? 500 touchdowns. Red Zone said that he was going to throw, and I think he's already thrown more than that, has he?
Let's take a look. Good.
If I was going to say, if you're going to do it, make sure that pick goes to the other conference.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's the only consolation in that moment, is at least make sure it's going to the other conference. Yeah,
I remember Ben being on a show, and I'm not sure if the one we did or somebody else, and he said it's more about the players. So he loved simming his teams and seeing what his specific players accomplished.
Right.
And that was more fun for him, building that history.
I'm gonna guess that when he got this player, he was like, "Oh wow, I want to sim for 20 seasons and see how many balls this guy is gonna make my team win."
Yeah.
See, that really resonates with me, because that's why I love these types of games, and that's why I love, like, in real life, the NFL. Like, I love the statistical side of it. Like, when Cam Newton was starting, I love just watching his rushing touchdowns go up and up and up, and thinking, like, holy shit, at this pace, this guy's going to be the first QB to hit 100 rushing touchdowns, you know, and then his body fell to pieces. And, like, it's the same thing. I think I get a ton of satisfaction from not knowing how it works. And I do wonder if that's why T-Zac comes and goes, because I think he's cracked it, and I think he just gets bored of, like, well, yeah, I've fixed everything, I've won, I'm done again. But, like, I play Football Manager as well, and I'll play that for tons of seasons, because the bit I get really into is seeing the history, like, tot up. Like, you know, the team I support, Newcastle, their record league goals in the game is Jackie Milburn with 177. So, like, trying to beat that, it takes ages, and getting the right player to go and do it. So that really resonates with me. Is just, I love seeing the stats tot up.
Yes, the stats for me as well. Love it.
And having a guy and
me
keeping him
too.
for his whole career, like having a career guy, is a cool thing.
Yeah, I had 4 guys that retired. I drafted them all, and they stayed on my team their whole entire career. It was just neat watching them, even though none of them were really that great, but they all contributed and they got a couple rings. So, but yeah, I like stats a lot too.
That sounds like more cult heroes. They're not that great, but they hung around and they won some bowls. They did some stuff. The people of Williamsburg love them. They're all cool.
Cohesion too. I mean, cohesion's a thing in this game, and those guys were bringing an ass ton. So,
you know what it can be also. And I'm only going to speak for myself. I make up stories of my players. And so by giving them a life, giving them a story, it makes them real. So when you look at the stats and the games they played in, you feel what you felt when you watched the games. And that's my take on that part.
Yeah, I totally get that. I do that as well. Like I know it hasn't been working for a while, but I did love giving random nicknames to like 1 or 2 players. Just to like almost just like as inside jokes to myself and like what people would come up with. And like, there are loads of players that when I scroll through the history of my team, I'm like, oh shit, I remember them. I love that player. Like Keith Alston, Ron Ellard. I loved Ellard. Diego Reeves, who had 90 route running and no other bars whatsoever and went for 1,700 yards in one season. I just love them.
That's why, there's this is something else that I talk to Boots about. Sometimes we say this to each other, is that we know it's not little men inside the computer, but to me, I kind of want it. It is, it still is. Yeah. There still is an element of that. I don't, I know it's a computer program. I know it's zeros and ones and algorithms and all that stuff. But for me, when I click on and I get ready to do my file, it's on any given Sunday, these are going to be little men inside this computer trying to win me a game with my plan.
Do you know what, on that I keep thinking about, which I'm like, I love the concept of it, but then I'm like, how would you actually make it work? But it is doing like a fantasy league of our league.
Yeah, right.
That'd be awesome.
The concept of that I have heard get thrown around. I don't know if they're doing something like that in another league at the moment. I'm sure someone's mentioned something, but
I remember we talked about it in the IHOF back in the days, very, very early on. But I think we decided not to do it because then you get into the situation where you play the game, you play with your team, and then you get the running back or the wide receiver or the quarterback of your opponent as a fantasy football player, and then you got a game within the game, and then you need. Yeah, that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think we actually were. Yeah, it's a meta game.
Well, speaking of GMs that make magic with their quarterbacks, Julio, this is what he has, and he always makes magic. Look what he did last season with him: 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
I mean, a 4 cents rush bar. That's nuts, isn't it? I was going to say your QB Chops has a really low cents rush bar. It looks like he took a load of sacks, but his avoid interceptions is good at 63. So that's good. And he played well for you. And that's something else, is he played well for a contract of like 14 million last year.
Oh, he did? Let's take a look.
Yeah, Jobs' this guy. So, although he was bottom of the division or whatever, 10-6, a good winning season, decent 2-1, virtually just over 2-1, like touchdown to interception ratio, all that for 14 million. And that seems like a reasonable contract in regular things, but in the IHOF where the cap is even more crazy and high, that's like nothing basically.
Wow, you're only paying this guy $14 million?
Yeah, I have a lot of cap room.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
So you don't have to be paying someone a lot of money, basically.
But you make a great point, because that's why I was so surprised that he put up 600 rushing yards, because you'd think he's just getting drilled, but I guess he's so quick that maybe he just gets out of it anyway. Because the amount of like scrambles he has where he just takes off, he had 28 runs of over 10 yards. He even had one game where he ran for 100 yards, and that's with no designed runs. That's just him going, fuck it, off I go.
Yeah. Is a sack is that only behind the line of scrimmage, right? So if he runs and scrambles and gets tackled down there, that's just a a
Yeah,
regular
it's just
tackle.
tackle.
It's a positive
What?
gain. or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's one thing I've never understood about this game. If he takes off and runs the ball and loses 2 yards, isn't that a sack?
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
in the
that's a sack.
in the NFL, that's a fucking sack. But
Yes.
Yeah.
here it's just lost yardage. So weird.
Is it?
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Did he fumble much, Jobs? Do you remember if you were watching like Soul Vision or whatever? Did he fumble in like crucial situations or anything?
No.
Because that'd be my only concern with like taking a lot of sacks. Is I'm terrified of fumbling.
I
Well,
don't.
he fumbled
I don't
9
remember
times.
Yeah,
him
he fumbled 9
fumbling
times.
a lot.
See, that's the thing about when you take sacks is that you fumble the chances. I should
But
say.
if he's dropping back all those times, however many times he was dropping back, and he's making these rushes and he's only fumbling 9 times, I guess that's not that bad. I don't
Jobs,
really have a
I-
reference.
That's
for it.
a lot of fumbles, dude. I don't know how many
Is
he
it?
lost though, but yeah, 9 fumbles.
Jobs, I think you should drop this guy. We
Well-
talked about this, by the way, Jobs, that if you look at the free agency market for quarterbacks, there is nobody out there. Negative.
Yeah. I'm just going back through the games that we lost. And like none of his fumbles. I've gone through 3 so far.
It has to be on
Only one of
sacks.
those games did he fumble,
Clay,
and that was in the fourth quarter comeback.
if you go to individual stats, the screen you've already got open, and go to the QBs,
I
is there a
got it.
tab on there that shows their fumbles?
I have to
On the-
load.
Yeah, but on the individual stats on you've got it open in the middle of the screen. That's got like all the stats from the last season for players. It's just to your left.
Oh,
Look left.
okay, over here. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, it's like behind those 2. Yeah, so if you
Right.
get the QBs up, which one's the fumbles on here, just so I can see like what the kind of other league.
But so far, looking at it,
Miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous. Got it.
Yeah.
4 of his fumbles that I've just looked at in games we've lost, he didn't lose them.
Oh, here we go. I put the top quarterbacks who fumbled.
Oh yeah, okay. There was 3 guys who fumbled more than him, or 4 guys that fumbled more than him.
So you're sitting right here, Jobs.
So is that recovered, or is that just him recovered?
That's
That's him.
that's
Him. That's him.
Because I know I've looked at like a bunch of games and he didn't lose at least 5 of them. I wonder if that's on team.
Yeah, that's only on the team stats.
Yeah, open up team stats, Clay.
Sure. Oh, 2026. Okay. Where do we go? Passing?
The last one.
Yeah, where are we going?
scoring and turnovers. Is that it?
Yeah.
Fumbles. Yeah.
Okay, here you go.
So you
Yes.
have 14 fumbles as a team. He had none.
Yeah, the running backs struggled. But yeah, our turnover margin was +1. So I just don't think we lost that many of those fumbles.
Wow, Paris had -17.
Yeah, Paris has been dreadful in turnovers for the last couple of seasons.
Sort by the margin. I just wanted to see where everyone sort of ranked.
The column all the way on the right. I think.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
far right.
That's it.
Right. So so we were middle of the field.
Man, that
Well,
is
Tom,
rough.
you killed it. +9.
Yeah, but
Went
ours
wide.
is, we don't throw that much because we're like a running team, so that kind of. But that's by design. I don't want to throw interceptions. I'm terrified of them. So
I'm shocked that Cap City is sitting at +13, but yet had a losing season.
yeah,
It's funny what you say about interceptions because I remember talking to Ben about it on one of these calls, and that's why you throw deep because then it's basically just a punt.
yeah, it's like an arm punt. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's good if you can do it, if you can tolerate it. But I don't know.
I
don't
like to
know.
look at red zones and see where people sit.
Oh wow!
There you go.
I had to look that city up. Right. Wow.
So
No.
what does that do? What's that? What have we sorted by?
Tells you when you go down to in that red zone, how many times you put in as a touchdown compared to how many times you put it as a field goal or not scoring at all.
The column that he's clicked on, the 5.6, where it was like points per visit, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
1 and
yeah.
2. Go us.
Yeah, and then you go how many times you get down to the red zone. You got Tucker at the top, Chesapeake, Oakland, North
Makes
Plainfield. Wow. And they're picking first in the
Wow.
draft.
No,
And
they're
they were-
not. North
Aren't they?
Plainfield is Rick.
Oh yeah, North Plainfield's Rick.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm taking that back. I'm thinking of Fairbanks.
And they're converting at a good clip as well, 5.4. So that's above league average, well above league average.
So it just shows you how they drive down the field or the defense gets the ball in good position for them.
Yeah.
But then you look at the defense. I also like to look at to see how teams pan out here.
Yeah, see, look, I'm like Swiss cheese when I get people getting my red zone. I let them straight through, basically.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
Damn.
similar as well.
Damn.
That's not good.
Yeah, I'm way down there at the bottom. That's nice.
Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah.
I let people get down to the red zone for me. Look how many times they get to me. 58 times. That's not good.
Ben, don't break.
Yes. So it's interesting looking at red zone defense, and turnovers I like to look at as well.
Yeah. I don't know if have you seen any of this stuff? Bill Belichick's got like a YouTube channel now, and he does like all these regular videos with Mike Lombardi and Matt Patricia and stuff. They do like a podcast about every week, and they talk about loads of stuff, but they were talking about turnovers all the time. And they always say, ball security is job security. Like turnovers lose you games. And I think, while we haven't obviously got job security to worry about, like turnovers definitely, you can throw games away literally, if you've got players who are prone to turnovers, or if you've got plays in your playbook and stuff that always result in turnovers and stuff. It's definitely worth paying attention to all that if it's a repeat thing.
If I have a turnover machine on my team, I learn my lesson. They're gone. I just don't want them on my team. They're just hurting me.
Yeah, and that's why I had to bench Mazza this year, because he just started throwing way more interceptions. And I think we threw, Jops, was it 5 interceptions you got off him this year? And 3 pick sixes? It was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, we did get a lot of pick sixes in. I think we got 2 in one game or something.
Yep, and 1 in another one. So
yeah.
So when you're thinking about team building as well, Jops, obviously the best player available strategy and stuff, do you think about your division and what your opponents are like in terms of their offensive styles? Because Quick is obviously a pass-heavy guy, isn't he? And Frederick, are they pass-heavy? I know they've got a good QB, but I don't know what their sort of split is. And then Grim, what kind of ratio are you balanced?
Yeah, I'm pretty balanced. Like, if I got 6,000 yards of offense this season, that's what I always shoot for. I want 4,000 passing and I want 2,000 rushing. I don't care how I get it, but usually if I can get 4,000 or 6,000 yards in a season on offense, I'm making the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, because to have all those good DBs and stuff, it just seems like it's perfect to face a load of teams that pass a lot.
Yeah, well, that's so. I just went and checked. Grim. It was my outside linebacker Berberich.
Yes,
he got 2 pick sixes.
It's fucking ridiculous.
And he is partly for my system, right? Because I think he's got like 70 or 80 zone D. So I play him in certain formations and he just gets picks. But do I think about other people in my division when drafting? No. Like, I think I don't think I'm smart enough to give it that much time and thought. Like, I think I just think about what I want to do and then see if like anyone can beat that or if I can stop anyone,
Yeah.
Like, I think that's I think what I've started to come round to that, like, I think, and this is probably naive and wrong, but I think in the NFL, like, there's an element of scheming. You know, you do specific things because you've seen it on film, but ultimately, your playbook is, this is what I think is going to get results with these players. So you'll emphasize certain plays more, but generally, these are the plays I think are going to get the results with these players.
Yeah.
You know, focus on what you can do and execute that, and then it'll work or it won't work. But you control what you control.
Yep. But no, as far as that though, I mean, I do pay attention to the other players that people are getting in the division. I mean, just like Jops bitching about that running back I got, and he was right. I got that running back in rookie of the year, and 1,500 fucking yards, and Jops is correct. I know how to work a running back, and if I get a decent one, fucking look out.
Yeah, he sucks.
I do, for instance, Melman loves to run. And so I used to say, I need to build a defense that can stop the run, period. Because he's one of my biggest dangerous opponent.
Yeah,
but I have to
you've got to win your division games. Isn't it? I mean, I think the same about you, but with passing. I have to try and have some pass rush. I have to try and have some good DBs and stuff, because I can't just let you stand there and throw medium passes and deep passes or whatever all over me, and hurt my playoff chances. But then Chicago is a bit more balanced. I know he's had good running backs and stuff, so he kind of screwed that up. So I couldn't go completely one way or the other.
Yes, agree.
Clay, you got to fix it. Clay, you got to fix your defense. They were awful this year, man.
Yes.
31 overall, 21 points against, so that's not terrible. But that 30, they're just smashing you for almost 400 yards a game.
Damn.
Look at this. Beyond awful. I agree.
Is that our division? 3 people from our division are in the top 3. Is that worse?
Oh, Jesus. All your defenses sucked. Holy shit.
Yeah. Just no respect for defense in our division, basically.
That's why I text you, Grim, during the playoffs. I said, I got to fix my defense against Jugs.
Yep.
Which we played well against his team. It could have been anyone's game, that game. A lot better than our defense played all season.
Wow.
I'm allowing a 95 QB rating against my team, against my pass defense.
Oh.
That is terrible.
But we are awful.
Yeah, really bad. Is that on your team? Do you think that's personnel or scheme? Have you got talent, but you just haven't got the game plan on defense, or what do you think it is?
I think it's more game plan. Because I have some decent guys in the right position to do something, but I think it's more game plan.
Yeah, it looks like you could use some secondary.
I lost my safety. He just retired.
Oh, yeah, Herman.
Yes.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, you got a good D-line, so.
But they're getting old. Very old. So it's going to be more than Swiss cheese. It's just going to be an open floodgate on our team.
Have you still got Harnish, or whatever his name is? Lonnie
I love
Harnish.
that guy, yes. Yeah. But he did awful this season, which that's what I was saying. My game planning this season was bad. Here it is.
I remember the draft. You took this guy. I think you had a couple of first-round picks, maybe, or you took at least 2 or 3 guys that year, and they all turned out really good. But this guy was just a game wrecker. That 20-sack season, I mean, that's crazy. He's always had pretty good pass rush percentage.
Yes, he has. 9.2, 8.4. So, yeah, so he's been always up there. Love this guy. I took him with, I believe it was McGee. I think these two were taken together.
Yeah, 10 seasons ago. Yeah. Was it 21-18? Is that when he was taken? Yeah. You took them one after the other in the same draft. Am I seeing that right?
Yeah, so what happened was I picked McGee, and then Quick was up next. And I reached out to Quick. I said, Quick, I like to pick up a player. And I think I gave him 2 firsts or something like that. And This was a player he said he might have picked up, Harnish,
Yeah.
after I picked them up.
No, they both look good, so good investments.
I love a center like that. Like a good center is just awesome.
I agree with you guys because for me, linemen, I love linemen for some reason.
You agree so much that you've got two centers on the roster who are over 70 rated.
Yep.
What are you doing? Platooning them at center?
I use now McGee at guard, and I have the other guy at center.
Nice.
Take
That's a
over
good one.
Bolton.
Yeah.
So I find them sexy picks for me.
Me too. I like linemen. I'm happy to invest in the offensive line. I think it's important.
All right, fellas, I have to run. It was awesome, Jops. I'm glad you were able to swing in. We were wondering where you were.
Yeah, sorry I was so late, guys. Just as before you go, my wife was sat next to me and she said, Clay, that you have a great voice for podcasting, which I have to agree with her. Audio book.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah.
she's saying
Yeah,
audio
no.
book.
Yeah, we've been saying
tell
that
her
all
thank you.
along.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for hosting. Sorry I was late, guys, but it's great to catch up.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good
glad
to speak
got
to you,
on,
man.
brother.
Sorry about that draft advice all those years ago as well.
Oh, by the way, hold on before we leave. Do you guys know who? I know Millman hasn't looked at the draft, but do you guys have an idea what you like to go after? What position, I should say, you'd like to go after?
I'm hoping I'm going to need a linebacker, so I'm hoping there seems to be quite a few in there. I'm hoping one of them drops to pick 30, but I don't know if they will.
I think I either need an outside linebacker or a cornerback with really high zone D because my outside linebackers are getting old.
Yeah, I'm in the safety and cornerback shopping.
Yeah. Oh, but my only problem is I'm going on holiday for 2 weeks from Monday and I won't have my laptop with me. So I have to set my whole queue now and all my free agent stuff now and hope it all works out.
Wonderful. Where are you heading?
China for 3 days, going to Shanghai, and then Hong Kong for 9 days. Because this is crazy, but they're the last two Disneylands we haven't been to.
They have Disneyland's in China.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
they got one in Shanghai. They got two in Japan, which we've been to, and they've got one in Hong Kong as well.
Oh,
Oh,
have a
geez.
wonderful time, you and your wife.
Yeah,
Will
man.
do,
Have a good
thank
one.
you.
Yeah, good shit.
All right, fellas, gotta go, and I'll post this up either probably later tonight. If not, it will be there tomorrow.
Yeah, good to speak to you guys. Thanks, Clay, for organising this as well.
Yeah,
Anytime,
thanks
fellas.
Yeah,
again.
thank you. Take care, guys.